Hello and welcome to your yoga practice. So this is going to be a 30-minute practice to just get you moving, grooving, getting a little bit more ease into the body so you can go out and do what you need to do, what you want to do for the rest of your day. So you can do this at any point in time. I'm doing it today after an early morning run to just loosen up a bit more. So if you have two blocks and you like to use blocks, have those handy. We'll be doing one thing that you'll need one block, so if you don't have one, don't worry about it, you can just skip that part. And then a blanket of sorts, something that you can roll up, and that's what we're going to start with. So taking your blanket, your towel, whatever you got on hand, and unfolding it. No, this is big enough. So it looks something like this. So you want it to be long enough to fit along the length of your spine and also support your head. So depending on how long you are, you may need to move further away from your blanket or closer. And then feel free to do this practice with any music on that you like. Just make it your practice. So, for starters, depending on how long your torso is, you may need to move closer or further away. And that roll is going to go right down along the spine and support the head as well. So the shoulders are kind of just flopping off on either side. Feet can stay planted with the knees bent. That'll be a little easier for the low back for some people. Otherwise, you can take the legs out. So just finding what works for you as you start your practice off today. I'm going to start with knees bent here. And then the arms down by the hips will be the gentlest for the shoulders. If you want more stretch into the shoulders, you start to take the arms out more or even overhead slightly. And then I'll get a bit more stretch into the shoulders and the muscles in the chest. And then once you land in a comfortable position, allow your eyes to close. And take 4 deep breaths here, taking a deep breath in and sigh out. And taking another deep breath in and sigh out. Take 2 more like that. Big breath in, sigh out. And 1 more. And then returning to your natural breath and giving yourself the next couple of rounds of breath just to land here. To press pause on whatever you have going on the rest of your day. Letting go of any mental to-do lists. Letting go of whatever was happening prior to you getting on your mat. And just tuning in, seeing what's showing up inside right now. And as you scan through these different layers, noticing how the physical body feels, any places that might need a little extra love and care. Noticing your breath, how it flows in and out. If it seems deeper or more shallow. Notice your energy at this point in time, in this day. Are you coming to your mat with lots of energy, little energy, somewhere in between? And giving yourself a gold star here for even getting on your mat. Sometimes that's the trickiest part. And as you scan through the layers, can you welcome all the different parts of yourself? Can there be space for every part of you to exist exactly as it is right now? Take 2 more deep breaths here. And then making any adjustments if you don't feel comfortable in that position anymore. Or if your knees are bent, it might feel good to Straighten the legs out along the floor. If not, just stay how you are. And start to let the head fall side to side. Getting a little stretch through one side of your neck and then the other. And then pause with the head over to the right. Taking a deeper breath in. And as you sigh the breath out, let the head get heavier. And that stretch get a little deeper through the left side of your neck. And then come back through center. And let the head flop on over to the left. Taking a slightly deeper breath in. And as you let that breath go, can the head get a little heavier, flopping towards your left shoulder, getting a little more stretch through the right side of your neck. And then come back through center, extending the legs long, reach the arms overhead, and stretching your fingers all the way down to your toes, giving them a little wiggle. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And then the arms come out and down. Bend the knees, bring the feet back to the floor. Tip on over to one side so you can pull the blanket out from underneath you and come down flat on the back. Walking your feet out to the edges of your mat, knees start to sway side to side. Feeling into the hips a little bit. Pause the legs over to one side, taking a deeper breath in. And let it go. And then come back through center, over to the other side. Taking a deeper breath in. And let it go. And knees sway side to side. Knees come back through center and then hug them in towards you, giving them a little squeeze. Rock side to side, massaging out the low back. Then keeping the knees together as you circle them in one direction. Continuing to give a little massage to the back body. And then change the direction of the circles. Circle the knees away from each other, getting into the hips a bit more again. And change the direction. Then pause and center. And your choice, you're either going to roll to one side and gently come up to a seat, or if you like, you can begin to rock and roll along the length of your spine. I'm just doing that a few times, getting a little stretch through the spinal column as you move back and forth. If that's not comfortable, again, you can just roll to one side and then come up to a seat and start to stir through the torso. Feel free to sit up on a blanket if that feels better. Stirring one way and then change direction. And you come back through center. Inhale, arcing up. Exhale, curl. And arc open. And curl. Arc open. And curl. back through center. Arms sweep out and up, stretch tall. Take hold of your left wrist, pull over to the right. And then come back up, hold your right wrist, pull over to the left. And back up. Arms come out and down and give them a little shake out. Extend the legs in front of you to shake them out. Point and flex through the toes. Circle ankles one way and the other. And then sweep the feet over to one side, coming up to hands and knees just briefly so you can curl the toes under. Lift the knees off the ground. And then hips come high as you fold over your legs. Knees are bent as much as you need to here so the torso can really release. And then just give yourself a little bounce, bounce, bounce. Make sure the head is nice and heavy, shoulders are floppy, arms are floppy. Shake the head, yes and no. Then bending the knees, begin to roll on up to standing. Taking your time to get there. When you come all the way to the top, come to the tippy toes of your right toes and begin to circle through that ankle. Just getting some lubrication through the joints. Circle the ankle one way and then switch it. And then doing the same with the other. And switch. Then bring the feet together, bend the knees, circle the knees around. Change the direction. Separate the feet more and take some big circles through the hips. You can do it with hands on hips, or sometimes it's nice to just let the arms flop. And then circle the other way. And then keeping the legs still, see if you can circle the rib cage around. A little bit trickier. And if the rib cage doesn't know how to circle today, you can just wiggle the ribs, wiggle the spine in different directions. If it's circling, change the direction of the circles. Or just wiggle a different way. And then roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Bring palms, forearms, elbows to touch, circle the elbows out wide. And start to swim the arms forward. And swim the arms back. Dip to one side and then the other. Just letting the arms be floppy. So you open up a bit more through the sides of the ribs, getting a little stretch through the side body. Head is just flopping along for the ride. And then coming back up, keeping the feet nice and wide, start to sweep the arms side to side as if they were empty coat sleeves as you gently twist here. And your choice if you want to keep the feet planted, or you can start to lift one heel and the other. Continuing to just let the arms flop so the shoulders are nice and soft here. Gentle twist from side to side. Then start to slow it down. Let the movement find its own stopping point. And then when you finally stop, you can just bring the gaze to the floor or let the eyes close. Pause for a moment, noticing the tingling in the fingers and arms. Noticing how your body feels, having done a little bit of movement, a little warming up through the joints. And coming back to the breath, following it in and out. And then gently blink the eyes open and standing at the top of your mat. Inhale, arms sweep high. Exhale, swan dive over the legs. Folding over legs, again, knees can bend as much as they need to. Inhale, coming halfway up, slide the hands up to shins or thighs. Exhale, fold. And again, like that, coming halfway up and fold. Bend the knees, bring the hands to the floor, and step one leg back and then the other to a tabletop. Then do some circles through the ribs in your tabletop. Getting all nice loosey-goosey in your spine. Switch the direction. Then walking your hands out in front of you a bit more, come forward and down onto your belly. Stretch back through your toes, nice and long through your legs. Walking your hands 2 feet or so out in front of you, wider than your mat. Pop up to your fingertips, float those elbows high. Inhale, coming up. Turn to look one way. Turn to look the other. Come back through center and lower down. Walk your fingers back towards you a little bit more. Inhale, coming up. Soften the belly, relax the shoulders. Feet stay down. Turn to look one way and then the other. Come back through center, lower down. One more time, moving the fingers back. Roll the shoulders away from your ears. Plant the feet. Inhale, come up. And turn to look one way. And then the other. Come back through center. Lower on down. Bring the hands by the sides of the chest. Press yourself on up to a tabletop. Hands can stay down on the floor. Or if you have the blocks and you want to use them, bring your hands onto blocks at whatever height. I like starting higher and then knowing that I can move deeper into it if I want to later. Right foot comes forward. Walk the toes forward so that as you sink your hips lower, the knee is coming right over the ankle. Soften the shoulders, gazing out in front of you, starting to feel that stretch into the front of the back hip. Just staying here for a couple of breaths. You can let the head go in different directions, stretch through the neck. Inhale here. Exhale, begin to pull the hips back, walk your hands or your blocks back, flex the toes towards you. Inhale, come forward again, sink the hips low, gazing out in front. Exhale, hips pull back, flex those toes. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. And forward. Walk your left hand out a little bit more. Bring your right hand to the right knee. Press into the knee and twist, gazing out over that shoulder. you want to, you can start to lift your left leg off the ground. A little bit of work in your hamstrings there, and also a deeper stretch into the front of the leg. One more breath. Then if the foot's up, gently bring it down. Hands come back to the blocks, framing the foot, and then pull the hips back again. Walk your blocks, your hands back. Turn the toes side to side. Pause with the toes straight up. And then step the leg back. Roll on up through the spine. Inhale, arms out and up. Hold the left wrist, pull over to the right. Inhale up. Switch the hold, pull over to the left. And up. Arms come out and down, bring the hands to the low back. And press the hips forward, lift up through the heart. Chin stays tucked to keep the length in the back of the neck. Hugging elbows and shoulder blades towards each other. Just getting a little stretch to the belly, stretch to the front of the shoulders and the chest. Inhale back up. Hands either come back to the floor or walk your blocks out in front and step your left foot through. Taking the toes far enough out in front of you so that as you start to sink those hips, the front knee doesn't go past the ankle. Just staying here for a couple of breaths as you gently open up through the front of the back leg. And at first it might not feel that gentle, this movement, so can you just breathe in and notice how you can soften a little more, maybe just a tiny, tiny bit. And playing with the head again if you want to stretch to the neck a little more. Inhale here. As you exhale, hips pull back, walk your hands or blocks back, flex the toes towards you. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, take it back. And come forward. And take it back. Last time, come forward. Walk your right hand out to the right a bit more. Left hand to the left knee. Press into the knee and twist, gazing out over that top shoulder. And again, that leg can stay as it is right here, or if you want a little more, start to lift the foot off the ground, working your hamstrings, opening up through the front of your right leg. And then gently lower the leg if you have it lifted. Bring the hands to frame the front foot again. Pull the hips back, walk hands or blocks back, flex the toes. And then turning the toes in and out. Feel your hip rise and fall. Pause with the toes up, step the foot back. Standing on your knees again, inhale, roll up, arms sweep high. Take hold of the left wrist, pull over to the right. Inhale up, switch the hold, pull over to the other side. And up. Arms come out and down, bring the hands to the low back. Press your hips forward, heart lifts up, open through the front body. Inhale, coming up. Move your blocks out of the way for now. Take your knees wide or big toes to touch. Reach the hips back for heels, child's pose. Inhale, roll on up to hands and knees. Exhale, take it back. And again, like that, rolling up and just pacing or pulsing in and out of this. Just get a little bit more range of movement through the body. And then take it back, nestling in here. Letting the head rest either on the floor or your hands or a blanket or a block. Stretching the arms out in front of you nice and long. Take a deep breath in and side out. Walk the hands over to the right. Stretch open your left side. If you want a little more stretch, you can even bring your left hand on top of your right. And then come back through center and take it over to the other side. Now you're just reaching through the hands, or if you want a little more, the right hand stacks on top of the left. Come back through center. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Inhale, come on up. Bring the knees under hips again. Hands on the floor or your blocks. Step your left foot through. Walking the toes forward, sink the hips low again. And this time bring the left arm on the inside of the leg and start to take your hands or your blocks for a walk to the right. As you walk your blocks, notice what your left knee is doing. So we don't want it following us. We want it to stay over the ankle. So tell your knee to stay. Hands are shoulder distance apart. As you exhale, elbows bend wide, heart melts down. Inhale, coming up again. Exhale, bend. Inhale, come up. Walk your hands back. Frame that front foot. Curl the back toes under, lift the back knee off the ground, low lunge. Pressing out through your back heel, opening up through the back knee. Roll your shoulders back, heart draws forward. And then bending the back knee, hop the back foot to meet the front. Inhale, coming halfway up, slide the hands up the legs. Exhale, fold. Hands to the floor or your blocks again, step your left foot back. Gently lower the knee down, taking any support you need here. Sink the hips lower. Bring your right arm on the inside of the leg and take the blocks or your hands for a walk to the left. Noticing if your right knee is following you. If it is, just bring it back over your ankle. Elbows bend wide, heart melts down. Inhale, press back up. And one more time like that, melting the heart down, elbows wide. Press back up. Walk your hands back. Frame your front foot. Curling the back toes under, lift the back knee off the ground, low lunge. Pressing out through your back heel, roll your shoulders back, draw your heart forward. Bending the back knee, hop the back foot in. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, roll all the way up, taking your time. When you reach the top, sweep the arms out and up. Take hold of the left wrist, pull over to the right. Inhale up. Switch the hold, pull over to the left. And up. Arms come out and down, bend the knees, bring the hands to the low back. Straighten the legs, press the hips forward, heart lifts up. Nice big stretch to the front body. Now on your next inhale, come back up. Exhale, fold, hands slide down the legs. Breathing in, come halfway, slide the arms up to shins or thighs. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, bringing one knee down to the ground and then the other. If you have a block, keep that handy. And then come down onto your back. So scooting halfway down your mat, lower down onto your back. Relax the shoulders, let the head be nice and heavy. Pause for a moment here, bringing one hand to heart center, one hand to belly. And then moving into a supported bridge pose. So if you have your block, you're going to use that for support. If you don't have a block, you can use your hands maybe. So I'll show you the block version first. Pressing down through the feet, lift the hips, slide the block under the sacrum, that bony ridge of the low back, at whatever height. So it could be low, it could be medium. If you have a lot of space and openness, you can turn it the high height, so whatever works for you. If you don't have a block, depending on how open you're feeling and how long your arms are, you may be able to press down through the elbows, lift the hips, and then take the hands to support their hips. This is going to be a bigger opening, so you have to decide what works for you. So I'm going to use a block. So resting down either on the hands or the block. The block is way more restorative, so I'm going to talk about that one. As you relax into it, let the belly soften. And while you're supported on the block, you're not completely letting everything go. You want to keep that opening through the chest, nice and broad across the collarbones. So pressing down through the arms slightly to keep that opening. You don't have to work crazy hard or anything, but you don't completely flop out of it and let everything curl. So gentle press down through the arms. If you're holding yourself up, you may want to come down and rest. And if you're holding yourself up, don't do this next part. It'll be way too intense. So if you're on the block only, left foot stays down, right knee bends into the chest. And then reach the right foot high. Keeping the arms pressing down, bring the left leg up to join you. If you don't have a block, you can do a similar thing, just making an L shape on the floor. So the hips would be down and you lift the legs up. So either way, you're still getting the benefit of the feet being high and helping with circulation back to your heart. If you're on a block, it's just a little bit more so. So showing the block again. And then with the legs in the air, circle through the ankles. Taking them one way and then the other. Take one more breath in here, reaching tall through your feet. Spread the toes nice and wide. Then on your next exhale, begin to bend the knees into the chest. Lower one foot down at a time. And pressing into the feet, lift the hips, remove your block, and bring the hips down. And just pause for a moment there. Walk your feet a little wider. Let your knees sway side to side. Hug your knees in towards you. Move props out of the way, taking the arms nice and wide. Palms facing up, making a T position for a terrific day. And let your knees fall to the left, gently twisting. Legs coming down to the floor or building up the floor to meet you with blankets or blocks for a gentler twist. Taking a deep breath in and let it go. As you inhale, bring the legs back through center and take them over to the other side, either to the ground or again building the ground up if you'd like a gentler twist. Taking another deep breath in and let it go. Inhale back to center. Give the legs a little hug. Draw your head up, give your knees a little kiss, or blow them a kiss. And then expanding out into your Shavasana, your final relaxation. Taking any props or layers you'd like here. It'll be a short one, but just to seal in your practice, letting the benefits find their way inward. Allow the eyes to close and settle in their sockets. Take a deep breath in and sigh out. And one more like that, big breath in and sigh out. Relax, release the entire body. Melt into the floor. Giving yourself a bit of time to rest and to recharge. If you have the time, you can stay in this Shavasana, this final relaxation, as long as you like. If the river needs to keep flowing, if you have things that you need to get to, start to bring a bit more attention back to the breath. Bringing in a fuller, more energizing inhale and a soft, smooth exhale. Let any little movements that feel natural come back to the body. There may be a little wiggling of fingers and toes. There might be a stretch calling your name. And then bending one knee and the other, bring the feet to the floor. Let your head gently sway side to side. Roll on over to one side, pausing there for a moment. Noticing the quality, the feeling that's present, having gone through your yoga practice. And then in any way that feels sweet and supportive, help yourself on up to a comfortable seat. Eyes can stay closed or just keeping the gaze fuzzy so the attention remains inside a little bit longer. And as you find your seat, tune in, notice any shifts or changes. What does it feel like sitting here now? And what are you sitting with? Bring one hand to heart center, other hand rests on top of it. And bow the head towards hands and heart. Thank yourself for showing up, for playing yoga today, and giving yourself this gift of time on your mat. Inhale the head back up and bow to the wonder and wisdom within you. Namaste. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and you feel a little looser, ready to move and groove. Have a good one. Bye.